You might think it's impossible to become a grandfather at the age of 16, but well, I'm here to tell you it is indeed within the realm of possibility. When I was 14, I discovered those online dating sites people are always going on about, and I was having fun with it. I looked a lot older than I was, which had always helped me with dating, but I got to admit I am far more attracted to older women than girls my own age. I was tall, really tall, and I was into sports, so I had an athletic build. My muscles were quite impressive, and it was something I worked hard on. I'd also gone through puberty early, at the age of 14, and I could already grow a decent-looking mustache. I tried dating junior high girls, and they were nice enough, but, well, I hadn't even come close to wanting to make one of them my girlfriend. I know it's young to be thinking about marriage, but since a young age I always thought about having a wife and family of my own. After my latest failed attempt to date a girl my own age, I decided to see what the world of online dating had to offer. I snapped a pic of myself and created a profile. I wasn't entirely honest about my age, as I was looking for an older woman, so I said that I was 18, and within an hour of posting my profile, I was getting sent matches. I was having way too much fun with this. The women all wanted to meet up, but I was really particular. Plus, I had lied about my age, so I didn't want to take the risk of being exposed for just anyone. A couple of months in, I was matched up with a 30-year-old woman from another town. She was just far enough that I felt comfortable talking to her and getting to know her. But she was also close enough that I felt if things were going well, I could get out to meet her. We chatted online at first, and then started talking on the phone. We sent pictures back and forth and got to know each other pretty well. She was amazing, and she was just what I was looking for. We had the same sense of humor, had a lot of the same interests. I guess it seemed like we just got each other in a way that I couldn't seem to find with girls my own age. She was beautiful too, mature, she knew what she wanted, she was independent. What I didn't know until later was that she had not been entirely honest either. After we dated online for a year, on my 16th birthday, I thought maybe we could meet up and go on our first in-person date. So I put on my nicest pair of jeans and button-down shirt, borrowed the car, and made the drive. We'd arranged to meet at the town's library in the history section. I got there early, so I had just enough time to start sweating and getting nervous before I walked up the steps to the entrance and made my way to where we were meeting up. And at first I didn't see her, but as I looked around I could see her watching me from the end of an aisle. We smiled awkwardly at each other and met up in the middle. She gave me a big hug and told me that I was taller than she expected. She was short, so I towered over her. She was very cute, as attractive as I found her pictures to be, which I was relieved about. She had red hair, cut in a bob style, was really trendy with her clothes, and she had an athletic build. We went to a coffee shop and sat there for about 6 hours exchanging stories about our lives and who we were. Of course, at this point she thinks I'm 19 years old because I'd lied and said that I was 18 years old a year ago when we started online dating. I felt bad about the lie, but I hadn't really thought that I would like somebody as much as I liked her. Well, that night I crashed at her place, as by the time we finished talking it was way too late for me to make the drive home. She had a small, modest home, but I instantly felt comfortable there. We held each other all night long, and I realized I was having some pretty serious feelings developing, and the last thing I wanted to do was to leave the next day. The next morning we kissed goodbye, passionately, and we made plans for me to drive up the next weekend. Now, I'll tell you, that week could not have gone by any slower. We talked into the wee hours of the morning every single night, and keeping up with my schoolwork was exhausting. We dated like that on and off for quite some time before things got really serious. I decided I wanted to marry this woman, but at this point I was only 16 years old. a fact that I still had yet to share with her. So I decided to confess on my next visit. The night I arrived, I told her that, well, I had something to tell her, that I had lied about my age, and I hoped it didn't erode trust to the point that she wouldn't want to be with me anymore. Well, her surprise surprised me, to say the least. Instead of getting mad, she seemed to think it was funny. She started laughing, and when I asked her what was so funny, she said, "Oh, you'll probably get a kick out of this. There are actually a couple things I haven't been so honest about, too." "Oh, really?" I said. And she then told me a lot of information that was tough to digest. She told me that she was actually a mom, that she had had a baby when she was only 18 and that her son was now 12 and living with his dad 2 blocks over. She had partial custody of him, but the dad always had him on the weekends, which is why I never met him. Once that information sunk in, I had to ask myself how truly mad I was that she had left that information out when we were swapping life stories. After all, it's not like I'd been honest either. I'd been warned about this danger to online dating, but it still brought me to Jane, and I wanted to marry her, and I didn't care about our age difference. We looked into state laws, and as it turned out, with parental permission, I could get married at the age of 16. My parents were free thinkers. They were big on following the heart and life decisions, and I was banking on that when I went home to talk to them about what I wanted. At first, of course, they were aghast with what I told them. The fact that Jane was older didn't really bother them, but they were concerned that I was too young to really know what love was. When I pointed out that they were married at my age, childhood sweethearts, they shrugged and said, "Well, he's got us there." They took a little time to think about it, spent some time getting to know Jane, and they decided to give us their consent and their blessing. Jane and I were, of course, thrilled, and we were married at City Hall 3 months later. I moved the town over and moved in with Jane and started our lives together. I didn't care that she was older, and she didn't care that I was younger. It might sound strange, but her son and I got along really well, and we were more like brothers because of our ages rather than stepfather and son. Her son Brandon had a big confession of his own to make one weekend. He told us he was in love, that he had had a girlfriend for 2 years, but what he told us next was the biggest shock. He had gotten his girlfriend pregnant. She had the baby 3 months before he even told us. That made me a grandfather by marriage at the age of 16. I still can't believe I've created this life for myself. Although we do get a lot of judgment when we're out together as a family, we couldn't be happier. I'm a grandfather at the age of 16, and I love that fact. And I'm going to have enough energy to play with my grandson and watch him grow. That's pretty cool. So do me and Jane plan on having kids of our own? We sure do. It's something we are planning as we talk about it right now. Jane wants at least 3 kids, and I'm happy with that. I'm willing to do just about anything to keep her happy. So becoming a grandfather at 16, well, it definitely has its challenges. There are times that I don't want to babysit or feel the responsibility of caring for an infant, but most of the time, I just feel glad and grateful my parents were open-minded enough to let all of this happen. To watch more animated story videos like this, hit that subscribe button and tell us in the comments section what you thought about this story.